Hello, users, and welcome to another episodic installation of Above It All. And one of the things that makes Republicans the dumbest of the dumb, like Democrats, right, they're pretty fucking dumb. Like on an IQ scale, the average Democrat's maybe like 40 IQ, but the average Republican is like fucking like 3 IQ. Like they've got a lower IQ than this fucking like push pin on my desk. Like this push pin is capable of more rational thought than 90% of Republicans. So the thing here, I'm going to read this story in a second, but the thing here with this is that the Republicans are simultaneously saying we have to reopen the economy full speed ahead, and then also, again, simultaneously saying, oh, we're not going to do anything to combat the virus. What? Okay, yeah, sure. The economy shouldn't be closed for years. I mean, the economy would be open right now and everything would be fine if y'all just wore your fucking masks like normal people and followed the lockdown in March and fucking April and May. Everything would be fine right now. Look at countries like New Zealand. They won. They beat it. Look at countries like Vietnam. 0 deaths. Right? But here, we are the global epicenter because these people are fucking stupid. Like, cognitive dissonance can be a useful tool. Believing two things that aren't necessarily in congruence with each other. Right? That can be a useful tool. But saying we need to reopen the economy, and then also saying the virus doesn't exist, and therefore we will do nothing about it, it's like, you can't have both. Those are directly opposing forces. Like, look at the right-wing fascist fucking people in Europe. They still believe in germs, and they're still wearing masks. Like, again, this isn't like, it's an American thing. Like, the Americans are especially stupid. Our education system, it's not broken, it's non-existent in several fucking states. You know, I grew up in New Jersey. I tell this story a lot. I grew up in New Jersey. I was taught racism ended. I was taught the USA are the good guys. I was taught that we bring democracy to every other country. And then, like, I'm in my 20s, and it's like, wait a second. Literally everything they taught me was a lie. Now, I dropped out of high school because that shit's for fucking nerds. But, like, if I were to stayed in high school, I probably would have some more epic anecdotes. I dropped out, though, because I'm a nerd. Anyway. Let's get on with the story. Asymptomatic spread responsible for most virus transmission, HHS official says. Young people not showing coronavirus symptoms are playing a big role in the pandemic. So, again, you have to take everything here with a grain of salt. But you can also just wear a mask. Like I get it. If you're, like, obese, right, and, like, you know, like, walking like up and down an aisle of, and I'm not even trying to be rude here. Like I'm being straight up. A lot of Republicans are obese. Like they're just, they don't know anything about health and fitness. And again, I'm not trying to be rude. You know, I'm really not. I'm really not. But I'm just saying, on average, Republicans are a lot more disgusting and unhealthy than everyone else. Like, and I did this poll. I did a video on this poll that showed 55% of Republicans have done nothing to combat coronavirus. Nothing. Including washing their hands. 55% of Republicans don't believe in germs. Right, so this is what I mean. Like, you can be obese and be healthy. Like, that is possible. Or at least overweight and be healthy. That is possible. But Republicans, they have bad hygiene. Right? They don't know what protein is. Right? Like, they don't know what soap is. And they don't believe in germs. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so, like, I get it. Wearing a mask can be hard if you're unhealthy, unfit, and you're garbage, and you don't know anything. I get it. And this is why the government response is really the most important thing. Because if the government had at least maybe a couple people that weren't complete psychopaths, that had actual power, this would be a whole different story. This would be like this would probably literally be done right now. Like, if George W. Bush were in charge, we'd probably be done right now. Like, and George W. Bush is awful. And he is a fucking idiot. But he's not as egomaniacal as Donald Trump. You know, and that's the difference here. But anyway, let's get on here. Echoing sentiments expressed by public health experts nationwide, The majority of the coronavirus is coming from asymptomatic individuals infected with the virus but not exhibiting the telltale signs of COVID-19, says Admiral Brett Guerrier, the Assistant Secretary for the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Speaking to CNBC reporters, Guerrier says the U.S. needs to be able to test everyone, even people who do not feel sick. It's totally possible that I've got COVID. It's possible. You never know. Like, we don't know. That's the thing, is we don't know. Because this government is fucking stupid. The government is fucking garbage. We know that most of the spread are from asymptomatic people, particularly young adults. So you have to cast a wide net. And I think we're able to do that, he said on the network's Squawk Box program. Asymptomatic spread of the coronavirus was identified as a component of the disease's propagation as the virus hit statewide, with face masks being the best defense. Despite these advances over the past few months as the country grapples with the societal fallout from the virus, masks remain a contested topic nationwide, with some states issuing mandates to wear them in public and others resisting implementing the measure. Now, just critique of the media here. No. It's not a contested subject. Say this straight up. 55% of Republicans do not believe in germs. 55% of Republicans are lacking any hygiene, lacking any health and fitness understanding. 55% of Republicans are fucking drones. They don't know anything. They don't possess critical thinking skills. This isn't a contested, like, this is why I hate liberal media. Like, this isn't, it's a debate. Is climate change real? We have someone who thinks it's real, someone who thinks it's fake. Just got, who knows? Like, the role of the media is not to do both sides whataboutism. The role of the media is not to be a centrist at all times. The role of the media is to tell truth to power. And that's not being done in this statement. So, one of the novel features of the coronavirus is that it has a wide range of manifestations within each individual. Some show symptoms identified as coughing, trouble breathing, and irritable digestion, while others are completely asymptomatic. Without a confirmation test, asymptomatic individuals would have no way of detecting an infection. This is part of what caused the virus to spread so quickly throughout the country. Do you remember in like fucking March or April, was it, when they did this Florida beach interview, and some dude bro was like, "If I get corona, I get corona, bruh. Not gonna stop me from partying." Get corona, bruh. I hope that guy's dead right now. I really do, but that's neither here nor there. Actually, it's both here and there, but either way, let's move on. Because of this, Guire said that the testing in the United States must be robust enough to accommodate asymptomatic individuals after suffering shortages throughout the pandemic. Early on, we had a very tight limitation of testing, so we were really dealing with those who were symptomatic in the hospital or healthcare workers. I'm hungry, so my fucking body is starting to, like, do that thing. Now it's very, very important that we actually test those that are asymptomatic, he advocates. You've got to cast a wide net. That's not highlighted, so it's irrelevant. For those of you wondering, I always pre-read an article and then just highlight the most important bits. I'm not going to reread the whole article. That's a waste of my time. We know how to take care of this. Wear a mask. Avoid big gatherings. Going to bars, particularly in these red zones, is not a good idea. And if you wear a mask and do those things, we don't need to close the economy. Again, that's the most important bit. That right there is the most important bit. We can keep the economy open, but we've got to be absolutely disciplined and diligent about these simple measures. Along with hand washing, you're going to ask me to wash my hands? Buddy! What? No, wash my hands? What? I've never heard of that. is what 55% of Republicans would say. Along with hand washing, these public health practices indicate that the highly afflicted Sunbelt states, Florida, California, Arizona, and Texas, are seeing turnarounds based on hospital and case data, according to Guire. This comes as multiple states have set records for daily death tolls, increasing hospitalization capacity, and when the country as a whole recorded more than 70,000 new cases in one day. And again, we have Trump trying to reclassify what data is allowed to be released, and he's trying to be a middleman to verify data, and we all know what that means. This is like, again, it's this simple. The coronavirus will literally be gone right now. Like, do you remember the debate, the March 15th debate? I think it was March 15th. It was one of those. No. It was one of those after Super Tuesday, where it was Bernie versus Joe Biden, and Bernie said we need Medicare for all, and then Joe Biden's response was, "Look at Italy, look at Spain, they're not doing so good." And then the crowd, or there was no crowd, but if there was a crowd, they would cheer. And then all the liberals were like, "Oh, yes, Biden, you've destroyed the commie," on Twitter. Remember that? Because I do. And how is Italy doing right now? How is Spain doing right now? Yeah, sure, they made mistakes. Yeah, sure, they weren't perfect. But the bar here is not perfection. The bar here is trying at least a little bit, which our government has not done. We have not tried at all to do anything at all. Like, we are not educating anybody. Like, you go outside and you see people walking into grocery stores with no masks on. This sign, like, I live in North Carolina, it is literally illegal to go inside of a building without a mask on. There are signs plastered all over the windows. And they don't care. They just walk in. And the employees, they're beta. They're losers. They're too afraid to actually confront or reject these customers. They're afraid. They're cringe lords. They're losers. This is the thing. This is the liberal versus the leftist. Is the liberal might believe in germs. Yeah, sure, they believe in germs. But that's such a low bar. Yeah, sure, we have the controlling governing party that doesn't believe in germs, right? So that makes you better than them, sure, but not by much. Like, what is it? Like, this is the same thing with the Democrats on climate change. Oh yeah, we believe in it, so we'll have net zero emissions by 2050, by 2069. Okay, I thought you believed in climate. If you believe in climate change, if you believe climate change is an existential threat, then this solution is not a solution. So that's the thing, is like liberals will claim to believe these things, but in reality, actions speak louder than words. If you're a manager at Walmart and it is against state law to have a customer in your building without a mask on, and you have signs plastered over all the walls and windows on all the doors, and you see that person walk in and you don't say anything, you are just as bad, if not worse, than a Republican who just doesn't believe in germs. Because, hey, they're just a fucking idiot, right? They're like just a helpless animal. They're like a pony wandering into the middle of the street. They don't know what's going on. They're not a human. They don't know what a road is. You know? That's the Republican. Whereas the liberal, the Democrat, is like, you know, it's my job. I'm paid to do this, but I don't feel like it. And again, the fact that we don't have testing, like the fact that, like, I haven't been tested, I might have corona, who knows? Some people in my family are pretty fucking stupid. Some people in my family don't wear their masks all the time. I yell at them for it. So I might have it, who knows? I'm relatively healthy. I'm a young adult. Who knows? There's literally no way to know. Because this government won't let me know. Because they're keeping these tests a secret. They're keeping all these studies secret. They're trying to buy out other studies. This is why socialism will win. This is why communism will win. Because capitalism is a fucking failure. Like, look at this pandemic. If you come out of this pandemic anything but a communist, I'm sorry, you're a fucking moron. Like, you're just a fucking moron. And the same goes, like, on the authoritarian scale. If you don't come out of this as an anarchist, you're a fucking moron. Like, if you just have, like, this weird, like, oh, the state, the institutions, oh, under Obama they were so great. If one president is capable of destroying the entire United States government, I'm telling you this right now, those institutions were not as institutional as you thought they were.